Copernicus was a young noble from Poland. He was born in 1473, close to the Reformation. His parents were quite well off, so he was able to attend the University of Krakow, where he was educated in math, astronomy, and philosophy. After he traveled the city-states of Italy, where he attended the University of Ferrara and learned about medicine and law. By this time, Copernicus had the opportunity to do almost anything because of his extensive studies. However, Copernicus was called to something else. His tender heart gave way to the humble serving of the church in any way he could. From this, he became a bishop's private physician. When his servant's heart was intending to the bishops or helping to the church, Copernicus was studying astronomy, his other passion. Copernicus was exemplary in his field. He was so good, in fact, that he created a calendar to map the heavens and the earth. Creating calendars was actually quite a common practice in the late medieval period. They were commonly used and had wise proverbs in them. They were mostly used by farmers to determine whether to plant crops, but they had very practical use in city life as well. The difference was that Copernicus strayed away from the ancient geocentric Greek calendars that everyone had used previously. He thought they were slow, inaccurate, and inefficient. Earlier calendars used the Earth as the center of the universe, geo-Earth-centric center. To comply to this theory, there were different cycles of the sun and the moon. A philosopher named Ptolemy decided that there were around 70 different circles that each the sun and the moon would have to take to defer the phases of the moon and the seasons. Now Copernicus thought this was ridiculous because there must be a simpler solution. Surely there aren't 70 different cycles. There must just be some other way to do it. Copernicus challenged the terracentric theory and came up with his own. It was called the heliocentric theory. The sun was at the center of the universe, and around it revolved all the planets. Previously, we thought of Earth as the center of the universe, and the heavens were separate. It was very dualist because Earth was one, but the heavens and the planets and the stars and everything else were one other body. Now this was very, very dangerous for Copernicus. Now it doesn't seem like something very dangerous, a new idea, but in those days, change was not something that was readily acceptable by the church. You see, everything had its place in the medieval times, or so the common thought was. The stones fell to the earth for a reason, and smoke rose into the air because it was its place. Kings ruled on their thrones because it was their place. So if the earth was not at the center of the universe, if it was not in its place, chaos could ensue and revolts could become in session. Copernicus's main contribution to philosophy was that he just dethroned the old world dualism by exposing the Earth not to be the center, but merely another planet, applying the terrestrial dynamics to the heavens. This reduced all nature to one system, a homogeneous in substance, subject to all the same laws. Whereas before, heavens and the earth, they had different laws, which could explain many different theologies and philosophies. Was Copernicus for or against Christianity? He was very much for it, but did he really contribute anything to it? I would say yes. He showed that you don't have to think inside the box to have a proper theological view. You can actually have new ideas and stretch beyond what other people have thought before. You can actually bring some new enlightenment into our theology to prove something.